It's time for the Proceed Halftime Report. If you need seed, think Proceed. With us today, the President and General Manager, Keith Pelletier. Keith, always great to have you with us, sir.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
A lot of conversations about GMO versus non-GMO. What's your take on this?
Yeah, I'd like to kind of maybe share a couple examples of, using the science. Certainly, most of our business is with GMO-traded stuff. About 30% of our corn is not, but the rest of it's all GMO with the exception of sunflowers. And we certainly have no problem with lifestyle changes, or not changes, but use organic, non-GMO, so on and so forth. But we want to make sure they're doing it for the right reasons, for the facts, not just what they hear on the internet. And I'll give you a couple examples. A friend of mine was sharing that his sister-in-law, who was like one generation removed on the farm, grew up on the farm, had kids, said, we didn't start having these problems with gluten until we got GMO wheat. And of course, there is no GMO wheat. And, so some people are taking the stuff that they hear on the internet or Facebook and using that to make a decision. So we want to make sure they're using informed science facts when they're making that decision.
You need the right stuff, the right information.
That's right.
I say that, I want to bring that up quickly. If you can talk about your Right Stuff program. We got Veterans Day coming up soon. Tell us about your Right Stuff program.
Yeah, so the Right Stuff program is honoring what we can do to honor the veterans in agriculture, and we're kind of rewarding them with some cash. We can't do enough to honor the veterans and what they've served and the time they've spent and the privileges we have as a result of those guys making a commitment to our country.
Amen to that. Thank you for what you're doing for them.
You're welcome.
And for all our farmers. If you want more information, check out Proceed.net and stick around. Much more coming up right here on the Proceed Halftime Report.
Welcome into the Proceed Halftime Report. We apologize for those audio issues there at the end of the first half. Let's go back to Ryan Gellner in Brookings to hear what Chris Kleiman had to say coming off the field. Ryan?
Yeah, guys, and I echo those apologies. Some audio difficulties here at Dykehouse Stadium. But Chris Kleiman coming into the half, not happy with his offense. He said it started not putting them into a good field position on opening drives. They've been pushed back defensively, meaning NDSU gets the ball inside the 20. He's not happy about that. And then the plays they've called just simply haven't worked, so they've got some work to do on that. On the flip side of the ball, they have to figure out how to slow down Taryn Christian. They have not been able to get pressure on the Jacks quarterback. They'll figure out if they can try to do that the second half. But I would say, guys, a very frustrated Chris Kleiman going into the half. Back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Ryan. We appreciate it. 17-7, the Jackrabbits lead here at the end of first half. Let's take a look at how we got to where we are.
Yeah, that's right. The Jackrabbits win the toss and select to start with the ball for good reason, it seems. Some big plays to start things off.
They come out firing on offense. Taryn Christian, he started this game 7 for 7 for over 100 yards passing in that first quarter. A very, very good start for the passing game.
On the other side of things, run game not quite as successful for him. Nick DeLuca here reading this one like a book.
The difference maker between the two games that they played last year versus this game is Nick DeLuca back in the lineup.
Well, they go back to the air and score.
That is Jacob Brown. You think of Jake Winicky as a receiving threat for a touchdown. You think of Dallas Goddard, but no, they go to Jacob Brown, the sophomore, there to get the first touchdown on the game.
Well, it works. NDSU offense goes 3 and out on the opening drive. Better showing here on the second go-around stick with a 16-yard carry.
I think the QB run is going to be important for the rest of this game, and I think NDSU is going to have to mix that in a little bit more as we go here in the second half.
23-yard completion to R.J. Urzendowski now gets him downfield.
It's one of the few times that the receivers have been open for Easton Stick. He's had a lot of trouble with it, and we hope that he can figure that out here going forward.
A 4-yard touchdown pass to Connor Wentz there evens the score up.
Connor Wentz with the 7th touchdown by a Bison tight end this year. Good for that group to get involved in the game. South Dakota State, they got a few good tight ends too.
Yeah, that's right. Second quarter, SDSU leads the nation on third down efficiency. 3rd and 10 gets him downfield with a pass to Goddard. They look for the end zone here, but Trey Dempsey with the coverage.
Looking for Goddard once again. Goddard falls down, asking for a flag. Not going to get it. There was no contact there between those two.
And Bison looking to answer, go 3 and out though as Stick is sacked here.
This is where I think Coach Kleiman is frustrated. It's the field position battle. They haven't been able to flip the field on the Bison or on the Jacks, and that's one of those areas where they were pinned deep in their own territory.
Well, defense gets him back on the field. Stick intercepted, though.
That's a unfortunate read there. Stick looking to the outside. RJ reads it that he can go inside, and that's just unfortunate.
Well, Christian goes to Goddard back-to-back for a couple of big plays, 22 yards and 25 yards.
This is SDSU cashing in on the only turnover of the game, and Taryn Christian, they haven't been able to run the ball very well. We'll show you those highlights or those numbers, but right there, they only needed a yard, and Christian was able to get to the outside and get it in. Let's take a look at our halftime stats brought to you by the North Dakota Certified Seed Producers, and again, the Jacks aren't running the football, they're throwing it, which is kind of opposite of what we've seen out of the Bison defense, not allowing too many pass yards. But Taryn Christian, 15 of 21 for 251 yards passing. That is a staggering number. On the flip side, the Bison, pretty balanced, just haven't been able to get anything going offensively, just 162 total yards on the game, and the one turnover proves costly. That's the difference between a 3-point game and a 10-point game at this point.
Yeah, Bison are going to certainly I know, hard at work right now in the locker room, fixing some of these holes. They're going to need to.
We will talk about those second half adjustments that the Bison need to make. Again, those halftime stats brought to you by the North Dakota Certified Seed Producers. We will talk about some of those halftime stats.
Welcome.
I will work to get my pen back from Beth. That's all to come here on the Proceed Halftime Report. Welcome back inside our Fargo studios, the Proceed Halftime Report. We'll talk second half adjustments in just a bit, but first let's go around the valley. It has been a fun day of football, a big, interesting day for Western Illinois, beating Illinois State 31-14. I think if you told me before the day that would be a 2-score game, I don't think I would have believed you. That game seemed like it would be a lot closer. Western Illinois picks up a win, essentially punching their ticket to the playoffs. Illinois State still kind of looking for what might be a seed.
I'm so interested to see the Redbirds when the Bison go out there for the last game of the regular season. Their outstanding performance against South Dakota, and then to see this one, I'm really interested to see who the Redbirds are.
Yeah, I am also on that boat. Youngstown State, no surprise there, picking up a win, a huge win over Indiana State. Indiana State still winless on the year. Second half.
Penguins needed that one emotionally.
Yeah, I think so too. I think if they win that one, Bo might not have been a fun customer at practice on Monday. We go to the rest of the games going on. Missouri State holding on to a 6-point lead over Southern Illinois. That one is in the third quarter, and a close one going at the Unidome. It is 23-20. They are just underway in the fourth quarter. At the end of the third quarter, that was a 23-20 game. A very interesting game happening in Cedar Falls, Iowa. That's it to say. All right, that's all we have for Around the Valley. Our score 17-7. The Jackrabbits lead on North Dakota State. We come back. We'll talk second half adjustments and maybe catch up with Jack's head coach, John Stiglmeyer. Still to come here on the Proceed Halftime Report. Welcome back inside our Fargo studios, 17-7. The Jackrabbits lead North Dakota State here on the Proceed Halftime Report. Second half adjustments, what would you like to see?
Well, obviously they're going to be bringing Jabril Cox into the lineup, which is, I'm hoping, going to be a nice little surge of energy for NDSU. You know what? They were trailing by 10 in December, came back and scored 36 points to beat SDSU in advance. I think they can do it again.
We've seen how good the Bison have been in the second half the last couple weeks. I expect that to be the same case today and give it back to South Dakota State. 17-7 our halftime score. Third quarter action right now from Brookings, South Dakota.